Now the topic that we are going to start today is performance testing methodology, performance testing practical, performance testing theory. Now let me give you a briefing on what is performance testing, why do we need it, what is its importance. Okay. Now performance testing is a type of testing where an application, specifically a web application, is tested under load. Performance testing is a specialized type of testing where an application is tested with load. That means with let's say an application. Okay, let's say an application. You have a application where you are selling your product. Selling your product means, let's say you are selling some sarees and other ladies stuff on a website. Let's say every day 500 people visit this site. Okay, every day how many people visit this site? 500 people. Okay, but let's say from 11 to 12, let's say 100 people come to your site from 11 to 12, and if you go to your site right now, you see 50 people is watching your site. If you go to your site after a half an hour, you see 75 people visiting your site. If you go to your site after an hour, you see 100 people visiting your site. If you go to after let's say 11:30, you see 150 people. You see 150 people is currently watching it. Currently watching it. Okay. So if you see 100 people currently using this site, that is called concurrent users. That means those users are together right now using this system. Okay, let's say in a busy day. Okay, in a busy day when your business is very busy, let's say you are seeing 200 people at a time visiting your site. That means if you take from 11 to 12, you checked at 11, let's say your peak time, let's say you have a restaurant business, your peak time is lunchtime, right? That's the lunchtime. When lunchtime, peak time is 100 people sitting at the restaurant, that means maximum 100 people you will have to handle at a time. And what is the peak time? Let's say during Saturday lunchtime is very busy time. That is when you will get maximum people, 100 people at a time you will have to handle it. So to handle 100 people at a time, you will have to have more chefs in the kitchen, you will have to have more servers in the front end, you will have to have more people in the reception, you will have to have more food in your collection. So what you prepare, if you can handle 100 people at a time, then you can handle 20 people at a time, right? If you can handle 100 people at a time, then you can handle 50 people at a time. So you will have to keep an arrangement so that you can handle 100 customers when it is peak time. So what you will have to do? You will have to have enough resource. That resource means you will have to have enough server, you will have to have enough chef, you will have to have enough receptionist, okay? You will have to have enough food, so that you can handle 100 people at a time. If you cannot handle 100 people at a time, what will happen? Some people will be getting food, some of them will not get food, they will be going out for another restaurant, some people will be complaining, some people will say your server will be talking to them, but they will give response after half an hour, right? So that is not a good performance, right? Now consider an web application. Same thing. If you have a web application and it can handle like when 20 people at a time using it, visiting different pages, it can handle it. Like, and website means when customer comes to the restaurant, some of them take dessert, some of them take main course, some of them take starters, some of them take drinks, right? That means, customers are using all of the features that you have in the restaurant. Is that correct? Some of them even using restroom, okay? So customers are using all of the features that you have in your restaurant, right? Okay. Now if you have a website, if you have, let's say, if you have a page where people make payments, if you have a page where you are selling all of the service, if you have a section where you are selling all type of cosmetics, you have different sections. So those sections, people will be visiting all of these sections, right? Right? Now, if you see that maximum 100 people is your concurrency, probably in a week 1000 people visit your site, but in a given time, what is the maximum number of users using your site? Let's say 100. So this 100 is your concurrency, concurrent, okay? Concurrent users. Now, performance testing is a very specific, special type of testing where a software system or an web application is tested under load with different section of that site, not only particularly on, let's say, going to the application and visiting the service page, not only this page. In performance testing, overall most of the important scenarios come to picture and people are using. We design a test scenario with all of these major functionalities and we put load on the application. Okay. Now, so concurrent users. What is concurrent users? Can anyone, so far from my discussion, can anyone tell me what is concurrent users?
At the same time,
There are tools. Guys, YouTube, Facebook, all of the major sites, they have tool in the backend to collect like how many users is coming to the system. Okay. Now, again, I will go back to the restaurant example. If you go to a restaurant now, you will see probably it is not open, right? Let's say, around 11 o'clock you will see less people, but probably around 12 o'clock you will be seeing more people. And there is a particular day when it is peak. Peak means
busiest time.
Busiest time. On busiest time, how many people there? How many people there? 100, right? But if you accumulate all of these numbers throughout the week, Monday to let's say Saturday to Friday, if you accumulate all of this number, how many people come? 6 to 700. But on a peak time, how many people? 100 on a peak time. So that is the concurrency. You got it? That is the concurrent user. Concurrent users means at a time. Like in this classroom, how many people we have? Let's say 15. But we have another batch. Together, if you accumulate, we have another batch where we have 18 students. So we have, let's say, 15 and 18, 33 students, right? Now, that is the total number. But what is our maximum concurrency? Let's say if you consider our class, what is our maximum concurrency? 80. So we are able to handle 80. Now, if you have, at this point, if you have 50 people at that time, we cannot handle it. We cannot handle it. So, what is our maximum concurrency? Let's say 20. Our maximum concurrency is 20, but we have 80 people. Okay? Concurrency. So, is your understanding clear about what is concurrency, what is concurrent user?
Is there any limitation, or it could be beyond that?
Okay. Now, question came, is there any limitation in concurrency? Okay. Let me tell you. There are sites, let's say Facebook, they are handling billions of users. So they have, it depends on, let's say I have a site qaquestions.org. Okay, qaquestions.org. So that site probably will be able to handle only a couple of hundred people at a time. If more than couple of hundred goes to the site, you will see it is not responding properly. You will see page not available. You will see, you are trying to go to a page, but it is taking 5 minutes to come. Okay.
Slow response.
Now, here, it depends on, for QA questions.org, I have purchased a hosting from Google. Now I didn't purchase a high speed hosting or high capability hosting. If I see my site is not giving service, lot of complaints, then I will have to buy dedicated resource from GoDaddy site. They will be giving me a server for my load to handle, powerful load. Now it depends on how many users are coming to the site. Then you will have to increase. Hardware means, let's say in your computer you have RAM 8 GB, right? And you have a CPU where your power is 3.0. But normally, if you want to host a site, right, you will have to have a computer with 64 GB of RAM or a terabyte of RAM. You will have to have 8 or 9 CPU in the computer to handle it, right? So these applications, whatever we are using online, these applications are actually hosted in a computer. Okay, guys, concentrate here. The applications that we are using here, can you click on next or? So the application that we are using here, they are actually located in a powerful computer. Let's say if you go to facebook.com, you are seeing it is coming, but actually, there is a room probably bigger than this building where all of the servers are located. For Facebook, probably there is a big building where only servers are located. And the application, the load it is going there, those servers are handling those loads. Okay. So now it depends on how many users are coming to your application, and then if more people are coming to your application, your website where it is hosted, you will have to increase resource over there.
So it has limitation by the owner of the application. Yes.
If your application is very much busy, you will have to increase your hosting capability.
Depends on your demand as well.
Yeah. Now again, look here. If your application is used by only 100 users, let's say maximum busyness is 100 users. Then if you make the application to handle 100,000 users, what is the problem? Can anyone tell me? Okay, what?
No, I didn't hear it.
The question here, let's say another thing that I will have to give you. Give me 1 second. Okay. Now my question was, let's say you have an application where concurrency is 1000 users. I mean, that means in a given week or in a given month, maximum you are seeing that 100 users is at a given time, 100 users are coming. Probably if you accumulate, it will be in a given month, it will be 30,000, 40,000 users. But busyness, if you consider busyness, you see maximum 1000 users using the application at a given time, right? Now if you build that application to handle 100,000 concurrency, what will be the pros and cons?
Expected results will be different.
No, you don't need it.
It will.
Okay, one by one. What is the answer that you have given?
You don't need that much. You said it's 100,000.
We are expecting maximum 1000 users concurrently. Let's say again go back to the restaurant. Let's say a restaurant where maximum 100 people come, not more than that during visit time. If you build the restaurant with 1000 seats, where maximum you are seeing 100 people coming at a given time. Now if you build that restaurant with 1000 seats, What will be the advantage and disadvantage?
Disadvantage is cost more money because you have to pay by the repairs,
Rent, everything is like maintenance.
You have to maintain.
Yeah, maintenance is
Sitting
costly.
capability for 1000 users. If you build it big kitchen, if you have lot of people, probably will be bankrupt in a month, right?
Can it be adjustable by its own? Depend on, like, I have 500. Some month I'm having 100, 200. Can it be adjusted within 500?
Yeah.
Is it possible?
Yeah. So if you build it, like, let's say, I'll come to that one. Now, the question was, if you are seeing maximum 100 people coming during busy time, if you build it for 1000 people, the disadvantage is you are spending too many money. You don't need those things. You are overheating a lot, right? You don't need it. You are wasting money. Now, if your replication has 1000 concurrency, or let's say if your replication has a maximum 100 concurrency, if you build it for 100,000, what is the problem? If you build it for 100,000, then you are investing a lot of money in hardware, in maintenance, right? That is not needed, right? That is not needed. So by performance testing, we can recommend a hardware specification that will be needed. Let's say that application has 1000 concurrency. So we can establish, okay, by performance testing, we can scale, okay, that is the capability or that is the capacity of hardware we will be needing. So that people who are building the hardware and configuration, they do not spend so much money wasting building a higher capability system. So by performance testing, we can measure, let's say they have a computer where they are hosting the application. Let's say they have 16 gigabyte of RAM, 2 processors, okay, 2 i7 processors, and 2 terabyte of hard disk where the application is hosted. Okay. Now, let's say that application has a concurrency of 1000 users. Okay. Now, when we are performance testing, we are seeing that the memory is like when you are using UFT, you saw that your computer sometimes you don't have enough memory, right? Same time, when 1000 people is using the application, you saw that it is maxing out memory or CPU, it is going more than 100%. The server is hanging, right? Then what you can suggest, guys, your CPU is going more than 100%, and that's why application is hanging. So you can recommend, can you add another server on it? By performance testing, you can provide those recommendations.
When you do that, then cost will be enormous, isn't it?
Which one?
When you add it later on.
No, later on, you can add another
So basically,
CPU.
it measures how many users are using the software, and then based on that, the loader, based on that, like you recommend like if it needs more software.
So you are partially right. So what it is doing when we are performance testing, we measure. Let's say you are going to log into a site. We measure when you are logging in how much time it is taking. How much time it is taking. So how much time it is taking? If you see it is taking more than 1 minute, it is taking more than 100 seconds, then if you look at it, what is the problem? Sometimes we see, developer, when they develop code, they put some code. Because of their looping code, it sometimes make it complex. Okay? Remember, in VB scripting, you have seen how we can declare variable, right? Sometimes if you declare a lot of variable in your code, it will make your program slow. Okay? So those things, like when you see you are doing an operation in performance testing, it is taking longer time, then from the development side, they take a look, what is the problem with the code over there. What they do, they revise their code, they try to see, they normally see if there is any problem with the code. They come with an improved version of the code.
So basically, performance testing is seeing like how long the software is taking based on how many users or if there's any code problems, so things like that.
Yeah, things like that. And also, let's say when you are performance testing, you are also measuring the servers, like how much of the resource is being used.
Okay.
Resource means how much of the CPU used, how much of the RAM used. You can measure everything, and then you can say if they build a, it is, if you see when you are performance testing, if you see only 10% of the CPU used, only 20% of the RAM used, you can tell them, hey guys, you don't need that much higher configuration for this application. You can, spend less money on the server. You can reduce RAM, or you can, if you want, you can bring higher, lower capability computers to host that website.
How about the opposite? Like you have it like your peer question.com. So how one person people can do it at a time. This is like at a time. Yeah, 100,000 people want to do a crash or you will slow down.
It will crash. It will slow down means nobody will be able to enter it. So it will say page not available. Yeah. So this one, what we say, generate
Unchecked.
unchecked.
Like Google Calendar.
And then finish.
It is going. So how long?
So now I can
You can check.
so
Okay.
finish, so that's been done.
Which one? Installation? What is it saying? Finish?
Yeah, because I unchecked that one.
Okay. So it is saying the controller. Can you uncheck the web controller installation? The one is finish the register. Finish, yeah, finish it. Now, okay, now I want to see what is your understanding, like so far whatever we have discussed. Okay, so far whatever we have discussed, what is your understanding?
Performance testing is perform test application performance and the verified test the server.
Resource uses.
And the server or something.
Yeah, server. Because again, folks, please put concentration here. Whatever application you are using, wellsfargo.com or bankofamerica.com or facebook.com, youtube.com, those applications are hosted in a server. Somewhere in a server, and those servers have a capability. And how quick the application will respond. Sometimes you will see when you try to get something, it takes pretty long. Sometimes it takes lower amount of time. So it depends on how much busy is the server and what is the capability of handling load of those servers. Okay. Now, can you tell me, Mizan bhai, can you give me what is your understanding on performance testing?
Actually, there's some for performance testing. Make sure they want to make sure how many capability is needed, not more and less. So you can crash the system. So that's what they do.
But what do we measure in performance testing?
Suppose you have a capability for the 500 people, they can do it together. So you want to make sure you don't need the for the 60 computer.
After the software goes to the production.
No, ma'am. Okay. So at what stage performance testing come into picture? If you test the performance after it go for production, then actually you are not measuring, like before you go for production you have to measure is it giving expected performance. Okay.
Question that.
Before
Yeah,
you
it's
do,
hard.
How
But
Hold on, hold on. Okay.
But how would you know how many, yeah.
How many people? How many
Yeah.
people? Okay. See, when you are building a restaurant, right? You have a expectation. Okay, that many people might come to my restaurant at a time. When you are building a website, like I have a website, few questions of yes, what is? I know how many people is coming.
Like you do survey.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do. I know how many people is coming into my site because I have mechanism, tracking, right? So when people is building a business, let's say someone sell sarees, so they know how many people can visit their site. They can estimate. Okay, I have marketed my site to that many people. So probably that many people can come at the site. So that is your estimation. But to be in safe side, let's say maximum 100 people you are expecting for currency, you keep it 150 people to be in safe side, right? So that if unexpected load comes, your system doesn't crash.
so that's the projected expectation.
Yeah, projected expectation. We if we see maximum users, if we expect 100 maximum users, we will be like building the system for 150 definitely, because we have to keep a buffer so that to handle unexpected situation. Okay. Now, when performance testing come into picture?
Isn't it before UAT?
Performance testing come into picture sometimes after UAT, sometimes before UAT. It depends on how the project is planned. But recommended is after all kind of testing is done, including UAT testing, then performance testing should be in the picture. Okay. Now, sometimes you will see performance testing is coming into picture before UAT, sometimes after UAT, but recommended is after all kind of testing is done. Manual testing, automation testing, system integration testing, okay, security testing. Remember, every application goes through security testing as well. After all kind of testing is done, then performance testing come into picture. Now, let me give you another file before I move for the full view. Sometimes you will get a question: what is the difference between load testing and performance testing? Now, can anyone tell me what is the difference between load testing and performance testing?
Multiple users. Yeah. One scenario, multiple scenario at the same time.
So, can you specifically tell me the definition, like what is the difference between load testing and performance testing? In load testing,
Test user response time in one scenario.
in one scenario, but in performance testing,
User response time in multiple scenario in the same application.
same application. In load testing, load testing and performance testing, we are evaluating them in the same term, but when you are facing interview, just define it as in that way. In load testing, we are using one scenario with, let's say, 100 or whatever concurrency is there. We use that many users. But in performance testing, we are bringing a blend of different situations. We are bringing some popular situation from the application, and then we distribute the users among different scenarios. Okay. So let me give you an example. In performance testing, typically what happens, let's say you have a scenario where you are going to the application and then logging in. So you have a situation, you have 3 test cases. Okay. In a performance testing situation, you have 3 test cases. One of the test cases is you are going into the application and then logging in. Another scenario, you are going into the application, logging in, and then clicking on, let's say, book a flight. This is another situation. Another situation is you are going to the application and then you are clicking on register. These are the 3 situations, 3 scenarios, 3 test cases. What are the 3 test cases? First test case is go to the application and then log in. Second test case is go to the application and then
Reservation.
Log in and click on reservation. Third situation is go to the application, click on register button. Now, if you have a concurrency of 150 users, what is your concurrency? What does this mean? This concurrency or concurrent users?
Maximum 100 people.
Maximum 100 people will be using the system at a time. It could be 20 people, it could be 30 people, but maximum will be 150.
Not more than
150. Not more than 150. Now, you will distribute that 150 concurrent users to these three scenarios. Let's say your most popular scenario is go to the application, log in and click on reservation. Okay, this is the most used scenario. Probably you will be giving 75 users on this scenario. And then how many users left?
75.
Another 75. Then your less popular scenario, a little bit less popular scenario, you go to the application and then log in, right? So let's say actually go to the application, log in. It is your, let's say this is your most popular scenario. You give 75 users. You have another 75 users left. And then go to the application, log in and click on flight reservation. That is a little bit less. Let's say you are giving 50 users on that. Now how many users you have allocated? 125. You have 25 users left. So you give 25, remaining 25 users on, go to the application, click on register. So if you have a concurrency of 150, you are actually distributing those 150 users among the scenarios. In performance testing, what you do, you distribute these 150 users on the scenarios. So if it is a load testing, what happens? You have only one scenario, login. You put 150 all users in the same situation, same scenario.
In Facebook, if I log in, that is load testing. If I go newsfeed, my profile,
If you
all
do
those are like in my performance
testing. If you are doing multiple test cases in a given test, then it is performance testing. Now, let me finish the discussion here. When does performance testing come into picture? Performance testing come into picture after all kind of testing. After all kind of testing in ideal situation. Then how it works? Let me explain you the scenarios, how it works. So you will have to, when you are in interview, if they ask you about question, how do you do performance testing in your organization? Okay. So you will say when all kind of testings are done. Okay. When all kind of testing are done. Normally, I saw in different organizations, performance teams, they have a document. They have a document where, let's say you are applying for loan. Then you go to the bank site and you go to their form, you input your information, right? So there are text box, there are links to click, right? So every performance team, they have a template. So if a department comes for performance testing, let's say mortgage department, they are looking for performance testing for their application. So they are communicating to your manager, hey, we need a performance testing on this, we are upgrading this application, we need a performance testing. Then your manager will send them that template. In that template, remember that your manager will be sending them a template. In that template, what they will do, what they will have to do, they will have to give an overview of the application what they are upgrading. Okay, they will have to give the test cases, they will have to give how many number of concurrency, they will have to give all kind of information on that template. In some organization it called performance process document, some organization it called speech and treats document. So when they come for performance testing, you manager send them a template. In the template, there will be questions or section where they will be asking, okay, how many concurrent users? When we find a defect, where will you report? They will be giving you the place where you will be reporting defects if you are as a performance tester. There will be a section where there will be the test cases. Okay, there will be a section where they will be giving you, remember I told you we are measuring performance of the servers where the application is hosted. They will give you the details of the servers, okay, and there will be another section timeline when you are going to do script, when you are going to execute, okay. So that is called performance. Sometimes it is called process document, sometimes it's speeds and feeds document, but from performance team they send a template where project team they answer this question. What are the questions about? Like what is the test cases, what is the concurrency, how many transactions you are looking for, okay, and then if performance test get any defect, where will they report it? If performance test want to upload the report, where will they upload it? So all kind of questions project team answer it and send back their document. So when they send back the document, they are giving you the test cases, right? Then you set up a meeting with the project team to give you a walkthrough on these test cases. So the project team, let's say if they have 5 scenarios, they will be showing you manually, okay, that is how manually you can perform this testing. Remember, everything is first step is manual testing. So the project team, they will show you manually you have to do this in this situation, and the performance team, they now know what is the situation they are going to performance test. So once they are clear about the workflow, once they know that the functionality work as it's supposed to, then they they prepare a document, their plan, how they will be carrying out the whole performance testing. That is called another performance test plan or performance approach document. They prepare a document, okay, and then after preparing a document, they prepare like how they will be performing, what will be their approach, and after preparing the document, they sit with the different team. Okay, that is how we are planning. And after that, after giving that presentation to the different teams, performance team, they give the presentation, then they start developing, then they actually start doing what will be the actual performance. So this is the process. Now, is this concept clear? Can anyone give me an explanation actually overall, like what is the performance testing, how the performance testing scenario come into picture, what people do in performance testing before even start performance testing, what are the steps? Can anyone give me an explanation?
One question. After all test is done, then it comes to the performance testing. Then is the partner who do the performance testing, he need to check what actually needed.
Yeah. Okay, now my question here, you are still having that situation. Can you do that? I can install it in the okay. Try to install it in the
Yes.
So put it in your share drive and from there. Oh, you don't have custom process? Can you give it enough time? Give it enough time. Now, Mahoday, go ahead with your question.
Same thing.
Oh, you are getting the same thing?
I am clear looking like that. I believe I'm clear looking.
What are you trying to install now? See here, the installation is not download the software. That's fine. Your software is already installed. It is already installed. You are good. It is double click on it and install. We'll be using it later on, but hey, what is happening? I can see this is happening for long time. Now, can anyone tell me, Hasina Babi, can you give me an overview of how performance testing goes? Okay, now let me discuss this situation again, so that you are. Yeah, I'm recording. Now, the performance testing come into picture after all kinds of testing. Some of the organizations, they do performance testing after UAT or before UAT. So let's say you are working in a bank. And in bank they have different kind of applications. Let's say they have an application where they are handling with mortgage. Now mortgage, for handling mortgage there is a different team. So, and performance testing, normally it is a centralized team. That team do performance testing for all of the applications. Let's say for mortgage they have a department to handle mortgage software. They have a department where people are handling their online banking system. They have a software team who are handling another software, let's say bill payments. Okay, so they have different teams. Now mortgage team, they come to the performance team. Someone communicated to the manager of performance testing, hey, we are upgrading this software, we need a performance test on this application. So they shoot an email. Then your manager, he divides his resource, like if we have people in the team, he see which team member is free, and then he plan it, and then he send that performance process document or speed. Sometimes it is called, I was working in an organization where we used to call it performance process document. I saw in another organization it tells like speeds and feeds document. Okay, so we send that template to the project team who have asked for performance testing. So from that team, in that document, normally the information performance team requires are what is the server architecture, how will performance team access servers, because if you want to measure performance in the servers, you will have to have access. Like as I said, applications are hosted in a server. Now if you want to measure the performance, you will be requesting in the process document, the performance manager, he requests for those servers credential, how to access those servers. Then you will be requesting for what is the upgrade that you are doing, what does this application do, then the test cases, then the timeline of the test. So there will be section where project team will be filling up those information, and if you have like performance team got a defect, he needs to report it. Where he will be reporting it, is it in ALM or Jira? If it is ALM, what is the project name and number? Okay, so everything, project team supply all of this information in that document. That is called performance process document. Let's be simple, performance process document. So they fill up this information, send it to the performance team, and then performance team, when they receive this information, right? When they receive this information, they schedule a walkthrough with the project team. In that walkthrough, project team give a walkthrough of the manual test cases. The test, let's say you have 5 test cases. Project team will be manually performing this operation. Okay, see guys, these functionalities are working. That is how you will be accessing the application. That is how you will be executing test case 1. That is how you will be executing test case 2. They show you basically step by step what you need to do in performance test. So once you have that walkthrough, then you prepare your performance test plan. From the performance team, the performance engineer, he prepare his test plan, how he will be approaching that performance testing. After preparing that performance test plan, okay, then he arrange a meeting with the performance team, different team that is involved. Okay guys, I have prepared my performance test plan, that is how I am going to, he present the document, that is how I am going to pass, and that is how I am planning, that is how I am going to perform that performance testing. Once that is done, then he also mentioned, okay, that is how I am planning in this day, I will be developing script. In which date I will be executing performance test, and this is the time I will be analyzing the result. Okay, so that is the phase that it has. Now once that walkthrough is done, remember I told you 3 parts: developing script, executing test, and then analyzing result. What is the 3 parts? Developing script, executing script, analyzing results, and after the results report is prepared, then the performance engineer give a walkthrough of the result to the whole team. Now 3 parts I have mentioned here. 3 parts. One is developing script, another one is executing script, another one is analyzing result. Now in performance testing, the tool that you have installed in your computer, it has 3 components. The tool that you have installed in your computer, it has 3 components. One is virtual user generator. It is like UFT where you develop your script. The first tool where you develop your script is virtual user generator. If you take a look, let me share my screen. Come up, man.
So basically, when product whoever the manager will asking the performance team and provide them the PPD or
Process document.
Can you repeat the answer for the interview question?
I will repeat it.
Then after getting the performance